So if you've seen the latest Corporate Report podcast on Data is the New Oil, you may have noticed that I made a very interesting and very telling mistake during that episode. And that was the conference where, amongst other things, they were announcing, we have a new citizen of Saudi Arabia. Yes, Sophia, the robot. In fact, the very robot that just last year announced it was going to destroy humans is now a citizen of Saudi Arabia. Well, isn't that cute? And now, I guess she leapfrogs over women in the Saudi Arabian pecking order and becomes a full-fledged citizen. I guess she leapfrogs over women.
I guess she leapfrogs.
She? She? No, James. Not she. It. It. The robot is an it. But I said she, didn't I? What an interesting mistake. I didn't even catch it until the second time around when I was re-listening to it during the edit. And I thought, what on earth? Why did I say she? Insidious, isn't it? It's almost like we are being prepared to accept these devices as people. Oh, we are. Of course, that's what the indoctrination and the propaganda is about. That's why they're being given citizenship and all these other ploys. It is a giant PR campaign for our transhumanist future. Yes, and it's so insidious that it even works on people like myself who are fully conscious of this and actively thinking about it. And yet, here we are. It was, less than a year ago that I recorded that video with the cute little robot in the mall here in Japan with, they're preparing us to accept something here, and we're already calling robots she. Unbelievable. And of course, this is just one part of a much larger PR campaign that's playing out right now that you will have noticed in many different facets of your daily life, as I have. I'm certainly not looking for it, but I have seen dozens of articles about the sex robot of the future is going to be the greatest thing ever. Man wants to marry his sex robot. A man has sex with his sex robot 4 times a week and his wife loves it. And all of this nonsense that's being foisted out there right now. Again, we're gradually being indoctrinated to believe that this is a person. This is not a thing. This is a person that you can interact with. And how insidious is that in this era where the battle between the sexes is being amplified to a degree never before felt in human history? You have movements like men going their own way arising as a result of this. You even have statistical things that we can point to, like the fact that the number of women who have never had children has doubled in one generation. That is not just a random circumstance. That is a result of a coordinated social propaganda campaign, and the solution to that is already going to be here. It's already waiting in the wings. Why do you need to put up with women when you can have a sex robot? She's just as good as the real thing, right? It's very, very insidious. And make no mistake about it, this is part of a PR campaign. It's exactly like a decade ago when the iPad first came out, and I remember seeing Stephen Colbert holding one up at the Emmys or the Grammys or the Oscars or whatever the hell he was hosting, and he was doing this thing where he's flipping it around. Haha, look at this, it's so cool, you can make the screen rotate. And I remember thinking at the time, this isn't even a propaganda, and this isn't even an ad campaign for Apple, although it serves as that as well. This is an ad campaign for the future. Hey, look at this shiny object. You want this. This is the gadget we have to fetishize. It's exactly like a decade ago when they started mentioning Twitter on every newscast. They would talk about, this person said this on Twitter. Here's our Twitter handle. Twitter. Before Twitter was even really a thing, when it was really still a niche thing, it was being hyped and promoted on the news. Again, it's not just a Twitter campaign. It's a message that you will be left behind unless you adopt these technologies. Unless you're on Twitter, unless you have the iPad, unless you have the sex robot, you're just not going to be able to live in the modern world, man. Ridiculous. And it is extremely insidious, and we have to resist this propaganda and conditioning with all our might. The fate of humanity lies in the balance. If you think that is hyperbole, please do go and watch my latest podcast on Data is the New Oil and understand where this is all heading. It's not heading in a nice direction. That's why we have to take this by the horns and stop, absolutely stop playing into this agenda or giving it any credence. All right, lots more to be said on this, but I just thought I'd share that nugget with you. James Corbett, CorbettReport.com.